Hi, this is Chase Stewart with Free the Powder Gloves. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to apply leather treatment and waterproofer, Free the Powder. Alright, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you got your gloves, leather here. Our gloves on the back of the thumb have a nice soft suede. Now we got a little bit too fancy on this design. The suede is fantastic for its purpose of wiping your nose. A nice soft tough thing on the glove. The only problem with the suede is that it doesn't really like having grease, oil, which is basically what the leather treatment waterproofer is. So if you don't mind getting a little stain on the outside of the suede, then you can just go ahead and start lathering it on. But the best way to do it, the way I do it, is I take masking tape and I put it over as much of the suede as I can. Alright. The second thing I do is I take cotton flannel. The thing about using cotton flannel is it's thin and it's really soft and it applies really well. And you can get really great detail into the leather. What's not a good idea, which most people do, is they put leather on both hands and then they rub their hands like this. The problem is every time you dip your finger into the leather treatment, you get more and more and more, and you get a buildup on the finger that you're using. And so it gets just totally saturated with grease, which you don't really want. So you're going to take the cloth like this, you're going to wrap it around as tight as you can on one finger so you can get maximum. Alright, so I'm going to take this. So I take my jar, leather treatment, get a good amount on there, and then I spread it out on the leather like so, and then little by little I take one finger and I always try to keep it as tight as possible and rub this thing in and get a fairly decent amount out of a whole container of Free the Powder. This is a 1 ounce, so this is probably worth maybe 5 or 6. A lot of people will just go crazy and they'll put way too much, but you don't really need that much. Maybe 1/5 or 1/6 of this thing, maybe less. So you coat every aspect of the leather here. Inside of the fingers, back of the thumb, along here. Be real careful along the outsides here. The soft shell material takes the leather treatment pretty well, and you generally don't see it very much when you rub it in, but I try to avoid everything but the leather because that's the whole point of what this was made for. And especially try to avoid the suede leather. So you just go little by little and take your time. You don't really need to do it that often because it's a pretty strong emollient and it's a pretty dense wax mixture. So you maybe need to do this probably maybe 3 or 4 times a winter. I mean, if you ski a lot, like every day, you're a ski patroller, you're a lifty, you're a ski instructor, you probably might want to do this once a month. But every time your hands the leather gets really saturated, then it dries, and it saturates and dries, you get drying of the leather. And leather, cow leather, goat skin, it's basically similar to human skin. It dries out. So you want to replenish the oils in it. The beeswax is the primary waterproofer. So you just saturate it, and then you soak it in, and then you let it dry overnight, probably for 24 hours before you go out and use it, and then you're pretty much good to go. A lot of people like to bake this in the oven. I'm not as big a fan of the baking process, but that's how you do it. And then when you're done, you can take the masking tape off and you're good to go.